This isn't about working harder. This is about aligning with the divine law written in your soul. Because wealth isn't something you run after. It's something you remember. Something you become. You don't chase divine inheritance. You awaken to it. There is a gate, silent, invisible. It opens not with effort, but with energy. And right now, your spirit is holding the key. Why does wealth feel so close, yet remain untouched? Why can you taste it in your dreams, see it in flashes behind your eyes, but never fully hold it in your hands? This is not a question of effort. It is not about how hard you work, how many hours you give, or how much you want it. Wealth is not summoned by striving. It is not chased into existence. It is revealed through alignment. Imagine this. You stand before a vast, ancient gate. It is carved with sacred patterns, silent yet alive. It does not open with force. It will not yield to panic. This is the silent gate of wealth, and it responds only to one thing: vibration. Not the noise of need, not the chaos of fear, but the stillness of spiritual certainty. You see, many are trying to unlock wealth with the wrong key. They push, they beg, they run, but they are knocking on a door that does not open to the desperate, because true wealth, lasting wealth, is not form. It is frequency. It is not what you hold. It is who you become. Ask yourself right now, what do I believe wealth truly is? Do I see it as pressure or presence? Is it something outside me, or something I'm willing to awaken within? What emotions rise when I think of money? Anxiety, hope, control, shame. These are not just passing thoughts. They are the architects of your energetic field. They either harmonize with wealth or hold it at a distance. The spiritually wealthy know this. They do not hunt money. They embody the state that magnetizes it. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, even though there is no sign of it in sight." That is the inner technology of wealth. Preparation without proof. Alignment without visible evidence. Faith without external permission. It is not logical. It is spiritual. And when you shift into this deeper current, when your being hums with the vibration of already having, something begins to respond. Not the world, the gate, the silent gate stirs. You feel it before you see it. The atmosphere around you softens. Your mind relaxes. You stop asking if it's coming and start knowing it already has. This is the moment the key appears not in your hand, but in your spirit. You realize there was no lock. Only frequency, that there is no lack. Only disconnection. There is no delay. Only disharmony. And suddenly, all the external striving begins to look like noise. Like trying to tune a violin by shouting at it. Like forcing a flower to bloom with your breath. You cannot push wealth into your life. You tune yourself to its presence and let it arrive in divine time. So today, begin here, not with effort, but with stillness. Close your eyes and see yourself standing at the silent gate. Breathe deeply. Let every exhale be a release of resistance. Let every inhale be an invitation to alignment. Speak softly. I no longer chase. I tune in. I no longer beg. I become. I no longer hope. I know. Let that knowing rest in your bones. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are the vibration wealth recognizes. You are the signal the divine responds to. This is the first law, the invisible law behind all visible supply. The inner root creates the outer fruit, and now that the gate has stirred, now that something ancient within you remembers, you are ready for what lies beyond. We will now enter that realm. We will step into the soil of thought, and learn how every idea you hold becomes a seed. The next law awaits you. The soil is sacred. Let us begin. You may look at your life and wonder, why does the fruit never match the labor? Why does the tree of your efforts seem to bear so little? The answer lies not in your actions, but in your atmosphere. Not in what you chase, but in what you carry. This is the first law of lasting wealth. The inner root creates the outer fruit. Every outcome begins as a vibration. Every harvest begins in the hidden. If there is lack in your bank, there is confusion in your belief. If there is struggle in your receiving, there is resistance in your inner soil. You do not receive according to effort. You receive according to spiritual alignment. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, even though there is no sign of it in sight." You do not wait to see before you believe. You believe until it is seen. That is the planting. Now, Let us take this deeper. Imagine a tree. No one applauds the roots. No one praises the hidden anchors beneath the surface. But it is the roots that decide the fruit. A mango cannot grow from a fig tree. A fig cannot grow from poisoned soil. What you nourish in silence, you eat in public. The spiritually wealthy understand this. They tend to be invisible with reverence. They do not beg the branches, they bless the roots. So let us bless your roots today. Close your eyes, see yourself standing on sacred ground. Beneath your feet is divine soil, not ordinary dirt, but the invisible field of God's supply. Now, breathe deeply and visualize roots of radiant light growing from your body into the center of this divine earth. These are not ordinary roots. These are thought roots, feeling roots, faith-roots. With every conscious breath, they stretch deeper. They drink from the waters of peace. They wrap around the rock of spiritual certainty. You no longer pull wealth from the surface. You draw it through alignment. Now, speak this aloud, slowly, like a soul declaring truth. I plant divine substance with every thought and every word. My roots go deep into unseen riches. What I grow from God. Breathe. Now take your journal and gently ask yourself, what seeds have I planted unknowingly? What thoughts about money have taken root without my permission? What fruit in my life feels bitter or barren? Write it all down without judgment. Awareness is how we reclaim the soil. Then choose again. Choose new words, new emotions, new vision. Wealth is not created through willpower. It is revealed through spiritual posture. When the root is divine, the fruit cannot fail. This is your foundation. And from here, we build. Now that your roots are blessed, we move to the second law, a sacred teaching that will show you how to dissolve lack by the alchemy of your inner substitution. The divine orchestra is only just beginning. Stay rooted. The next key is about to be placed in your hand. There is a law older than time yet forgotten by most. Not hidden, but ignored. Not denied, but misused. The law of the word. Florence Scovel Shinn said it plainly. Your word is your wand, not your wish, not your work. Your word. Your mouth is not merely for describing your life. It is for designing it. You are not a reporter of circumstance. You are the architect of vibration. And your voice is the sacred tool of creation. Every sentence is a seed. Every word carries weight. Every phrase plants itself into the soil of the subconscious and bears fruit in the external world. So ask yourself, what am I speaking into existence? What am I watering with my words? Listen closely. I can't afford that. I never have enough. Money disappears so fast. I'm just surviving. These are not throwaway phrases. These are spiritual blueprints, invisible instructions to the universe, commands to your own soul, to limit itself, to restrict, to wither. But here is your holy reversal. Words can destroy, but they can also deliver. They can curse, but they can also crown. Let us rewrite. I can't afford that. Becomes wealth is already preparing this for me. Money never stays becomes my divine supply is rooted and replenished. I'm broke becomes I am the heir of an infinite source. Speak not what is, speak what aligns. You do not speak truth because it is visible. You speak truth because it is eternal, and what is spoken in alignment must eventually appear in form. Now, take this deeper. Close your eyes, or better yet stand before a mirror. Look into your own eyes, not with judgment but with reverence. And declare, every word I speak builds a bridge to my divine supply. Say it again, not louder but truer. Every word I speak builds a bridge to my divine supply. Let this settle. Let it echo. This is not poetic fluff. This is spiritual technology. Your voice is a vibration. And vibration is the currency of the universe. When your voice aligns with faith, your world must respond. So begin to guard your gate. Become the watcher of your own tongue. Do not allow words of defeat to slip past your lips unchecked. Instead, tend to your speech like a sacred garden. Plant only what you wish to harvest. Speak only what you wish to live. The spiritually rich know this. They do not speak according to the weather. They speak according to the vision. And now you do too. In the next part of your journey, you will meet the law of substitution, a divine key that turns every thought of lack into a doorway of abundance. Your tongue has been awakened now. Your mind must be renewed. Let us walk into the next revelation together. There is a current beneath the current, a hum beneath the noise, a frequency that never wavers. It is the signal of the soul, and the spiritually wealthy know how to tune in. Most people live their lives at the surface, reacting to waves, getting tossed by winds, responding to shadows but never listening to the signal. Worry is noise, doubt is distortion, fear is static, but vision, true vision, is the divine radio station of your destiny. It does not shout, it whispers. It does not beg for proof, it broadcasts what is already true in the unseen. This is the law of vibration. Not just what you feel, but what you hold. Not just what you want, but what you carry in consciousness, in silence, in soul. Your thoughts are not private, they are transmissions. And what you transmit, you attract. Every image you allow to grow inside you becomes a magnet. Every internal picture becomes a signal to the divine orchestra saying, "Send me this." Now, ask yourself honestly, what am I broadcasting right now? Is it fear dressed up as logic? Is it worry pretending to be realism? Or is it a soul that already knows, already sees, already walks in the wealth it claims? Spiritual wealth begins in the mind, but is mastered in vision, not outer sight, but inner knowing. Close your eyes for a moment, breathe in slowly, and now in the sacred space behind your forehead, see it. See yourself walking through life as one who has, not needing, not grasping, but having a calm presence, a light step, and unshakable joy, because you know it is already done. Visualize it. See the version of you who does not ask, will this happen, but instead walks as if it already has. This is not imagination, this is alignment. You are syncing yourself to the spiritual vibration of vision. And when you hold this long enough, the outer world has no choice but to catch up to your inner broadcast. Reframe this. I hope this works becomes this, or something better is unfolding now. That is the language of the soul. That is the vibration of wealth. You are not waiting, you are tuning. You are not begging, you are beaming. Affirm now. I think in harmony with wealth, not in reaction to fear. Let it settle, let it vibrate. You are not separate from what you seek, you are only out of frequency with it, until you choose otherwise. And now you are choosing. Now you are remembering. The spiritually rich do not see wealth as a chase, they see it as a channel. They become the channel. They keep their thoughts tuned to abundance, even when the world tries to offer scarcity. They do not waver because their signal is strong. You too can live like this, think like this, see like this, because it is not about effort, it is about energy, and your energy is now rising. In the next step you will discover a law that changes how you relate to thoughts entirely. The law of substitution, which shows you how to take every thought of fear and turn it into a seed of faith. The frequency has been set, now the rewiring begins. Let's move forward. The mind is a sacred room, and it cannot hold two voices at once. You cannot dwell in lack and expect the feeling of wealth. You cannot rehearse fear and expect the tone of peace. You cannot feed doubt and expect the harvest of faith. This is the law of sacred substitution, and it is one of the quietest yet most powerful laws of lasting wealth. Florence Scovel Shinn said man's only enemies are fear, doubt, and worry, and yet these three often sit silently in the mind, posing as logic dressed in the clothes of caution, whispering in the dark, "I'm just being realistic." But the spiritually awake soul knows this secret. The mind cannot serve two masters. It will follow the dominant frequency. And if you do not choose your thought, your old programming will. That is why substitution is not just a tool. It is a practice of spiritual alignment. You do not fight fear, you replace it. You do not argue with doubt, you substitute it with a higher truth. So let's walk together through a sacred reframe. Low frequency. I'm always behind. Substitution. I move in perfect rhythm with divine order. Low frequency. Nothing works out for me. Substitution. All things are working through me and for me. Low frequency. I can't afford this. Substitution. Divine. Supply is unfolding through unexpected channels. Low frequency. I'll never catch up. Substitution. Divine timing is restoring all things to me in perfect sequence. This is not about ignoring reality. It is about claiming a higher one. It is about remembering that the words you speak become the blueprint you live within. Now I want to guide you into a simple ritual. A sacred act of mental replanting. When a fearful thought arises, pause. Do not chase it. Do not resist it. Simply stop and ask, what is the higher truth here? Now say aloud, infinite intelligence, replace this thought with your higher knowing. Let your light dissolve this shadow. Let divine wisdom be my next word. Feel how it settles your spirit, how it opens a space. This is where wealth begins. In the replacement of worry with trust. From now on, when you catch yourself saying, I don't know how, pause and say, but I trust that divine intelligence does. When you hear, what if this doesn't work? Breathe and say, I now align with the part of me that already knows it has. This is not just mental trickery. It is a return to soul. You are the chooser of your thought, and every time you choose the higher one, you water the root of divine prosperity. In the next section, we will explore the sacred law of non-resistance and how letting go is often the most powerful act of wealth alignment. For now, begin to substitute, begin to speak as the one who already knows how the story ends. There is a rhythm to abundance, but it does not respond to force. It flows to the one who has learned to float. Money is like water. Try to clutch it and it slips through your fingers. Open your hands and it fills them gently, perfectly, without strain. This is the law of not, a law that governs not just money but every current of spiritual wealth. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, fear and resistance tighten the flow. Faith and rest open it. She knew what many forget, that wealth does not bloom from tension, it blooms from trust. When we resist, we contract, we clench, we close the very vessel that divine provision longs to pour into. Resistance says, this is not enough. This shouldn't be happening, I must figure it all out. And in that moment, we step out of the current and begin to fight the river, instead of receiving its grace. But when you surrender, you float. You let divine intelligence carry you to the right place, the right people, the right provision with ease. Let us return now to the current through a sacred visualization. Close your eyes and imagine. You are standing beside a wide flowing river, its waters clear, gentle, endless. In your hands you hold a stone. That stone is your resistance. Fear about money, tightness in your chest, old stories like I never have enough, or I must do it all myself. Now release it. Place the stone in the water, watch it sink and disappear beneath the surface. Breathe deeply and feel the space that opens. This is your invitation to receive. In daily life, non-resistance becomes a quiet power. A bill arrives. Instead of panic, you pause and speak. Divine supply meets this with ease. All is well, and all is being handled by a higher intelligence. That is not avoidance, it is alignment. You become a receiver, not a reactor. And here abundance begins to move again because you have stepped out of the way. Affirm with me now. I release control and receive through divine rhythm. I am open. I am available. I am in flow. This is not a one-time decision but a practice. Each moment of tension is a new opportunity to relax into grace. And when you make peace, your posture prosperity becomes your mirror. Next, we will explore the sacred art of divine timing, and how trusting the invisible clock brings your desires into form at the hour most perfect. But first, let this truth settle in you. You do not have to chase the river, you only have to stop resisting its flow. There is a clock not built by man, not hung on any wall, and yet it governs the unfolding of all things. This is the divine clock. Its hands move without hurry, its rhythm is sacred, its precision flawless. But to the human eye it can appear slow or silent, or still. And that is where fear begins to speak louder than faith. We say, why is it taking so long? Did I do something wrong? Maybe this wasn't meant for me after all. But Florence Scovel Shinn said it clearly, delays are not denials. That which is rooted in spiritual truth is never denied, only arranged with perfect timing by the divine architect. There is no lack in the universe, only alignment and preparation. Imagine this. A woman plants seeds in the earth with care, with hope, with vision. Every morning she visits the soil waiting for green to appear. Days pass, then weeks, and still no sign of growth. In her impatience, she assumes something is wrong. She digs up the earth looking for proof, and in doing so she disturbs the process that was already underway. Had she trusted the divine clock beneath the soil, she would have seen spring arrive in its sacred hour. So, I ask you gently, where in your life have you confused delay with denial? Where have you tried to force open a door that was not locked but simply scheduled? Your wealth, your breakthrough, your opportunity is not lost, it is being composed in the silence. There is a divine orchestra, and your moment, your music, your miracle is part of the score. Spiritually wealthy souls understand this. They do not panic. When the fruit takes time, they tend to the soil, they speak truth, they walk in peace, because they know harvest always follows spiritual planting. Let us shift now from urgency to sacred trust. Close your eyes and place your hand on your heart. Say softly within, I trust in the divine order unfolding beyond my understanding. I let go of the clock of the world and align with the time of the soul. Feel the tension melt. Feel your breath deepen. This is the space where divine timing moves fastest, not in frenzy but in faith. And when doubt creeps in again, speak this truth aloud. Everything I need arrives in perfect spiritual time. I am not behind, I am not forgotten, I am right where the miracle begins. Practice this when the silence feels too long, when the bill is due and the help hasn't arrived, when the email doesn't come or the opportunity seems to pass by. Stand still in spiritual poise and declare what Florence would have declared. I now prepare for the thing I have asked for, even though there is no sign of it in sight. Because to prepare is to believe, to walk in readiness is to show heaven you trust its schedule. There is no power in panic, but there is immense power in presence. And so we wait, not with passivity but with sacred expectancy. In the next section we will enter the law of giving and how the circulation of divine substance keeps the wealth current flowing back to you, pressed down, shaken together and running over. But for now, rest here. The hands of the divine clock are not late, they are right on time. Wealth is not waiting for you at the end of a number. It is not sealed inside a bank account. It is not something you chase. It is something you carry. Real wealth is an energy. It is a vibration. It is a way of being before it is a thing of having. The spiritually wealthy understand this. They do not wait for evidence to feel secure. They become the evidence. They walk the blueprint before the structure is seen. Just like a divine architect who moves through an empty field as if the palace is already built because in their soul it is. Florence said you must act as if you already have it. Why? Because the universe responds not to begging but to embodiment, to vibration, to certainty. How you move is your message. Every gesture, every tone, every choice is a declaration to the unseen that says, I am ready. You do not earn divine wealth, you align with it. Take a moment now to feel this truth in your body. If you can stand with me, plant your feet shoulder width apart, close your eyes, inhale deeply through your nose and exhale slowly. Now, imagine you are already the one who has, you are the one who has become. Feel how that version of you breathes, how they stand, how they walk. Now, take one slow step forward as if walking into a room, where your presence is not questioned because it is claimed. You don't need to explain or convince or perform. You just are. Feel the calm authority, the grounded knowing, the quiet radiance of someone who carries wealth as a state, not a symbol. This is the embodiment. This is the energy that calls forth form, not from striving but from spiritual alignment. Say this with me now. I embody abundance in thought, tone, and movement. I walk in the vibration of wealth, and wealth walks with me. Visualize yourself entering a space, a boardroom, a studio, a meeting, or simply your kitchen. But this time, you move with reverence, not for what is there but for what is flowing through you. This is the walk of divine wealth. It is not about pride, it is about presence. It is not about proving, it is about radiating. The energy you carry becomes the field you live in, and that field is magnetic. Let this become your practice. Before the phone call, before the prayer, before the idea, ask yourself, am I moving like the one who already holds it? If the answer is no, then breathe, reset, and begin again. The soul does not need perfect performance, only honest alignment. On the next section we will explore the spiritual law of giving, how circulation, not accumulation, keeps divine prosperity alive and flowing. But for now, feel this embodiment. You are not becoming wealthy. You are revealing the wealth that lives in you already. There is a rhythm that rules the soul. It is not forced. It is not rushed. It is the rhythm of breath, of tides of giving and receiving in perfect, eternal motion. Inhale, exhale, give, receive, release, return. This is the law of divine reciprocity. And like breath, it cannot be hoarded, it must flow. Florence Scovel Shinn taught man receives by giving. Because giving is not loss, it is creation, it is signal, it is alignment with the divine giver itself. If you hold your breath, you suffocate. If you clutch your money, you cut off circulation. Prosperity is not about keeping it, is about keeping it flowing. Think of your life as a sacred circle. Every act of generosity, every moment of gratitude, every yes to receiving completes the loop. To give with resistance is to break the circle. To receive with guilt is to block the blessing. To hoard in fear is to tell the universe, I do not believe in your return. But when you give with an open heart and receive with open hands, you become a vessel for divine circulation. Pause with me. Let's enter a moment of sacred inventory. List softly in your mind 3 things you've given lately. Maybe time, encouragement, a meal, a prayer, a listening ear. Now list 3 things you've received. Unexpected kindness, a message you needed, an opportunity, a quiet miracle. You are part of the current. You are not a reservoir, you are a river. And in that river abundance flows both ways, not always from the same hand, but always from the same source. Affirm with me now. I live in the flow of divine circulation and I trust its return. I give freely, receive fully, and bless the flow as sacred. This is not about reckless giving nor forced charity. It is about alignment, about giving from fullness, not fear. And when you receive, do not downplay it. Do not say, oh, you didn't have to, or it's too much. Say, instead, thank you. I receive this as divine supply. Because to receive well is also a gift. Gratitude seals the loop. It tells heaven you noticed, you honored, you are ready for more. The divine orchestra is always playing, but it takes both hands giving and receiving to conduct the symphony. In the next section we will ground this sacred flow into a living, daily practice through wealth rituals that align your energy with divine supply. But for now, breathe in and breathe out with reverence. You are not separate from circulation. You are its sacred participant. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape the world but to enter the one that creates it. There is a temple within you, older than time, untouched by fear, unmoved by circumstance, glowing with golden light. This temple does not appear in maps. It is not built with bricks or stone. It lives in your consciousness, etched by the hand of the infinite, a sanctuary of wealth woven from divine truth. Step inside. Feel the hush of sacred silence, as if the universe itself is holding its breath, awaiting your arrival. You walk slowly, not with hesitation, but reverence, because you are not approaching something foreign. You are returning to something eternal. In the center of this temple there is a throne, not of dominance but of divine inheritance. This throne is yours, not earned, but granted, not because of what you've done but because of who you are, a child of the Creator, carved in the image of supply itself. Sit upon it. Let your spine rise like a tree rooted in truth, reaching toward light. Now before you ancient doors begin to open, not by force but by your presence. From these doors gifts emerge, not wrapped in paper but in radiance. Spiritual authority, unshakable peace, financial provision, creative downloads, divine relationships, each gift handed to you, as if the unseen had been waiting for you to remember, waiting for you to receive what had always been yours. Say softly with your spirit, I now receive what has always been mine. Feel that, not as hope, but as recognition. You are not poor, you are not behind, you are not unworthy. You are a vessel of living substance, a temple of divine circulation, a keeper of eternal inheritance. In this moment you do not need to hustle, to chase, to plead. You need only to claim from the inside out. Speak this affirmation as if it were the only truth you've ever known. The kingdom of wealth is within me. Let the words settle into your bones, into your blood, into your breath. Wealth is not out there, it is in here, in this sacred chamber, this holy awareness, this inner throne. Carry this vision with you, not just in meditation, but in movement, in decisions, in posture, and let the world adjust to the vibration of one who has already inherited everything. As we prepare to close this sacred journey, the final step is to move from knowing to devotion, to create sacred rituals that root this wealth into the rhythm of your life. The temple is within, and now you know the way back. Now we arrive at the sacred ground, where knowledge becomes embodiment, where wisdom meets rhythm, where spiritual law becomes living ritual. You've walked through the inner gates, planted roots of divine substance, spoken truth like a master builder, tuned into vision, substituted fear for clarity, released resistance, trusted divine timing, and opened the circle of giving and receiving. Now we anchor it, because the laws only live through devotion, and devotion is what reshapes the soul. This is your wealth ritual, a 3-part daily practice designed not to impress the mind, but to train the spirit. It is simple, intentional, and sacred. You will not rush through this. You will return to it until it becomes part of your breath, your step, your thought, your response. Begin each morning in stillness, not scrolling, not checking, but meeting yourself. Light a candle if you can, or simply place your hand on your heart. Stand before a mirror, not to critique, but to crown yourself. Look into your eyes, see not who you've been, but who you are becoming, and speak a declaration of alignment. Say, I no longer beg, I become. I no longer chase, I align. Today I walk in spiritual wealth with calm power and invisible provision. Say it not like a hope, but like a law. Your voice is the wand and your word shapes the day ahead. Then carry that vibration into your actions, your choices, your tone, your timing. At midday pause. No matter where you are, even if only for 30 seconds, place your awareness back on your source. You are not earning wealth. You are channeling it, allowing it, embodying it. Close your eyes and take a silent breath prayer. Inhale slowly and think, I am held by divine abundance. Exhale gently and think, I release all tension to the flow of grace. Repeat it 3 times and return to your life, not as a struggler, but as a vessel remembering the divine currency you carry. And in the evening before the world takes you into sleep, come back to your altar. Whether it is made of flame and journal, or simply your breath and awareness, write down 3 things you are grateful for, not surface level, but soul level. A moment. You responded in faith, an insight that shifted your energy, a small provision that reminded you the universe is listening. Then say this, surrender. Affirmation. I rest in divine completion. What I have planted in spirit is already blossoming in the unseen. I let go of the how and trust the when. I sleep in spiritual wealth. This 3-part ritual morning declaration. Midday breath, prayer, evening. Surrender is your temple practice. It doesn't require hours, only intention. You are building the inner architecture that holds lasting wealth. You are reprogramming the soil of your subconscious, watering it with faith, light, and clarity. No more hoping, no more waiting for external proof. You become the proof. Now, I invite you to commit 7 days. Sacred, focused, undisturbed. Set up your ritual space. It could be a candle and mirror, a quiet journal, a chair in the sun. Let it feel like home, because it is. This is not a spiritual performance. This is a reunion with your original design, a soul in harmony with divine. Circulation is never without. Let these 7 days activate something ancient within you, not new information but old remembrance. Each day you return to the ritual, you step deeper into your divine role, not as one trying to earn wealth but as one who already carries it in energy, in word, in being. And the world, as it always does, will respond to what you become. The ritual begins now, and it will not end, because wealth, true wealth, is not a destination. It is a rhythm, a relationship, a way of walking with the divine. So walk gently, speak powerfully, and remember, the kingdom is not coming to you. It has always lived within. This is the moment, not the end of your journey, but the unveiling of what has always lived beneath the noise, the shame, the forgetting. You came to this path with questions, with a weight in your chest, a quiet ache that asked, is there more for me? And step by step you remembered. You learned that wealth is not something you chase, but something you allow. That your thoughts plant roots, your words shape form, and your vision tunes the vibration of your future. You released old scripts, breathed through resistance, and trusted the invisible rhythm of divine timing. You rewrote your inner dialogue. You stepped back into the sacred dance of giving and receiving, and you found your way to the temple, not built by hands but etched into your spirit since before time. You have not just learned the laws, you've become a living portal for them. And now the gates that once stood silent open without effort, because you are no longer waiting outside, hoping, wishing, begging. You are inside, aligned, awakened. Now, I ask you to stand if you can, or close your eyes and turn inward to the soul where the real treasure lives. Let your spine lengthen, let your breath slow, and feel yourself surrounded by gold light, as if the universe itself is wrapping you in its robe of inheritance. Then repeat after me, not like a whisper, but like a trumpet through the spirit. I no longer wait for wealth, I walk with it. I no longer hope, I no longer fear, I flow. Say it again, not as a seeker but as a knower. I no longer wait for wealth, I walk with it. I no longer hope, I no longer fear, I flow. Let this be your final undoing of delay. Let this be the unlocking of your divine inheritance. You are not separate from the supply. You are the expression of it. There is no distant storehouse. You are the storehouse. You are the vault. You are the miracle in motion. Let this be your knowing. Your inner root now grows eternal fruit. Your word builds bridges, not walls. Your vision is no longer blurred by fear. Your thoughts are aligned with sacred order. Your hands give with grace and receive with ease. Your heart no longer resists the current, because you are the current. You are walking now not as one in lack but as one lit by divine design. Every breath is backed by invisible provision. Every step is a ripple in the river of divine timing. Every word is a code that opens the vaults of heaven. Now take one more breath, and see yourself at that silent gate, the one you once approached in doubt, the one you feared was closed. But today that gate swings open with no resistance, because you have become the key. You step forward, not hoping to be chosen, but knowing you were always chosen long before the first fear ever entered your mind. The divine orchestra plays, not for the few but for the faithful, for the surrendered, for the soul-born, and you have returned to your place in that harmony. Let your final mantra ring within you, like the echo of a bell in a sacred hall. I think as the soul-born do. I receive as the divine intended. Say it once more for every younger version of you who doubted, for every version of you who waited, for every version of you who was told it wasn't possible. I think as the soul-born do. I receive as the divine intended. Now walk forward. Not into something new but into what has always been yours. The soul's wealth has awakened, and it will never sleep again.